From Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University, welcome to the Blue Cross State Basketball Championships. Today in the boys 3A final, it's 22-9 Memphis East against 20-9 Memphis Central. Hi again, everybody, and a pleasant good afternoon to you. Mark Howard, along with Willie Donick. We are delighted to bring you this all-Memphis final. And, Will, these teams are not only familiar with each other, but pretty heated rivals.
Great rivalry. They've actually played 3 times already this season. 2 of the games went Central's way on buzzer beaters, so you know this is going to be a great matchup. 2 teams that have had state championship success in the past, but it's been a while since each one of them have been crowned state titles.
Well, great players on each side. Let's start with East. And in Memphis, they love the King, Willie. Junior all-everything Nick King.
And just a junior, as you mentioned, getting recruited by people all around the country. He has been outstanding. 10 field goals made in each of the last 2 games in the semifinal and in the quarterfinal, and he's got some help. The Mustangs have a lot of guys who can hurt you.
Exactly. The starting point guard Anderson, the sharpshooting Butler, and J.J. Lawson. And more on Memphis East. Here's first-year coach Sam Boucher with our Jonathan Hutton.
Coach, what did you tell your team about playing in today's game?
Hey, this is the last game. Either we're going to go and we're going to finish the season with a win, or we're going to finish the season with a loss. Simple as that.
And against a team you're very familiar with.
Exactly. We played Central 3 times. It should be an exciting ball game. We beat them at East, and they beat us twice on buzzer beaters. So it should go down to the final few seconds.
Have a good time. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Jonathan, and Central led by the coach's son, Willie, Dre Applewhite. What about him?
Dre Applewhite is a great coach's son, I would have to say. I think his dad likes having him aboard. He has been fantastic in this tournament. 29 points in the semifinal, 23 points in the quarterfinal. And, of course, Applewhite and Nick King will probably go head-to-head quite a bit on this evening. They are very familiar with one another.
And let's check out the starting 5 for Central. Johnson, the lightning quick point guard, and Josh Jones in the middle. Watch for him. Now also, for more on the Warriors, here's Coach Andre Applewhite.
Coach, what was your message to the team in the locker room?
Well, just basically let's continue to do the things that we've done to get us here. You know, play hard, enjoy yourself. This is a game you put yourself in position for, and just have fun. It's a game that, you always remember.
It's going to be fun. Congratulations for making it this far. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, now let's check out the Governor's Highway Safety keys to the game. Willie, what will it take for East to prevail?
Well, pretty simple for the Mustangs. Memphis Central does not have quite the depth, and so you want to crown the king. Nick King can get a lot of points in the paint, so you want to get him his touches for sure and attack the basket. If it's not King, take it from the outside, see if you can get to the free throw line. And for the Warriors, patience. They want to keep the tempo under control a little bit more, and they've got to stay out of foul trouble.
All right, the Governor's Highway Safety Office reminds you not to drink and drive. We are minutes away from the tip-off here in Murfreesboro when we come back.
The 2012 Blue Cross Basketball Championships are brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, proud corporate sponsor of the TSSAA, and by the Governor's Highway Safety Office, who reminds you don't drink and drive, and by your local Tennessee Public Television stations, proud host of the 2012 Blue Cross Basketball Championships.
I see history.
I see numbers.
I see music.
I see spaceships.
I see a butterfly.
Each year, the School Advocates for Vision and Education in Memphis makes it possible for hundreds of school children to get the glasses they need, all for free.
I see my future.
So whatever they see better. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee supports them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is for Tennessee.
I see you.
See how Blue Cross is impacting your community at bcbst.com/impact.
Take me home tonight.
You can choose the back seat,
Or we'll choose one for you.
There are many reasons why 96% of First Tennessee customers would recommend us. Here are a few.
Well, what I love about First Tennessee is that everybody knows me when I walk through the door.
They actually get excited when they see you could walk into the branch, and I love that.
They can't stop me from singing the praises of my bank.
Would I go anywhere else? Absolutely not.
I'm a 96.
I'm a 96.
I'm a 96.
Are you a 96?
Come see why 96% of our customers would recommend us.
Back in Murphy Center, just minutes away from the Class 3A state championship. Here are the starting lineups.
At forward for Central, number 3, Andre Applewhite. At forward for the Mustangs, number 5, Nick King. At guard for the Warriors, number 5, Myron Johnson. In the backcourt for East, number 11, Matthew Butler. At a guard position for Central, number 11, Joshua Jones. At guard for the Mustangs, 22, Keelan Lawson. At forward for Central, 22, Darius Sorrell. And in the front court for East, 23, Irvin Morris. The center for the Warriors, 32, Frank Herrera. The head coach for Memphis East, Samuel Batchelor. The Mustangs beating Blackman and Science Hill. Advance to the championship game at 22-9. Head coach for Memphis Central, Andre Applewhite. The Warriors beating Udawan and Clarksville High School are now 20-9.
Well, Willie, these kids, as we mentioned on the Open, have played each other and really grown up playing each other their entire lives. They've been teammates on AAU teams. They've been, opposing each other at times, but really a lot of fun when you consider the dynamic going in.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one goes, because anytime you make it out of Memphis to get to this point, you've done something right. And you mentioned all of the connections and the relationships between all of these players.
Our game officials, Richard Church, Trey Hines, and that trio. East in the maroon. And they'll re-jump it. It's Sorrell going for Central up against his opposite number, KJ Lawson. Tap one by Central. The first shot is missed by Applewhite. And here comes East. Alexander spinning in the paint. Front iron no good. Applewhite clears the rebound. Driving baseline and drawing the foul is Josh Jones, a hard worker, considered the best defender on the team. And he'll shoot some free throws.
Well, Josh Jones going baseline there. He was in no man's land under the backboard, and he gets bailed out here. This is not a good foul right here. You can see the elevation by Irvin Morris. You want to contest the shot there, but you don't want to foul the player where he was.
Jones, a 76% free throw shooter. First foul, of course, on Morris, as we're just breaking the seal on this one.
That is one thing that jumps out at you statistically about the Warriors. A lot of very good free throw shooters.
No pressure, at least initially, by Central. King gets his first touch. Morris looking for a cutter. And Applewhite almost got the steal. Now Anderson with... And inside it goes. King nails his first shot.
Well, first touch for King, just a junior, and that's an area where he can hurt you. He can go out to the perimeter, but he's very, very efficient in the post as well. So he is a tough guy to defend.
Early lead for East. Applewhite will start the offense. Averaged 19 points a game, but flicked away by Anderson. The save by Johnson. Myron Johnson inside to Heron. Nice bounce pass. Driving is Jones, and he missed the shot. Coming away with the rebound was Lawson, but he had it stolen away. Applewhite misses, but Heron right there on the follow.
Good garbage bucket there by Heron. He noticed that Applewhite kind of lost his balance as he went up for the shot there, and he was all over it. Central causing the turnover in the backcourt.
And taking the three, no good, was Morris. Boy, East down by 18 last night to Science Hill, pulled a stunning upset. A lot of people thought Science Hill would win it all. Nice recovery there by Central. Teeing up his first shot and going glass is Myron Johnson.
Well, I can tell from our angle, Mark, that was going to be right on line. I didn't realize he was going to use the backboard.
Nice use of glass. 3-point lead for Central.
You can see how hard Central is going to try to work to limit the touches of Nick King. Good work right now by Sorrell, fronting him and trying to deny him everywhere he goes. Great work by number 22 in white. Look at him.
Good ball denial by Central on defense as the shot is missed. And East will retain possession, but East, when you look at their road, beating Ottawa and then Clarksville 68-62, a very good Clarksville team. But East with a very impressive win last night by 18 over Science Hill. So they are undeterred by early deficits. King tees up the three, squared up nicely. The shot is off the mark, and the rejection on the Irvin Morris follow, but a foul called.
Well, that's a foul. That's the type of foul that's going to hurt Central if it keeps happening. Central came out of the zone and the out of bounds underneath. Nobody boxed out, and East was able to get that offensive rebound. That's a foul on Sorrell. We mentioned they want to stay out of foul trouble. They don't have a very deep bench, and a guy like King can get fouled a lot. You don't want to give away a foul on a play like that.
Irvin Morris had a great game last night. 15 points, 9 boards against Science Hill. He's the guy, Morris is the guy that Coach Batchelor admits he yells at the most. He says he's the dog of the team, but he means it in a complimentary fashion. Loves his dog. Some guys can, Willie, you know, some guys can take it, some guys can't. It seems to bring out the best in Irvin.
And the good coaches know when to press the right buttons and know how to get the best out of their players.
Now breaking the pressure there was Myron Johnson. Antonio Gillespie in the game. He's a good shooter. Jones out of the lane. At first passing up the shot and taking it and nailing it is Sorrell for three.
Darius Sorrell, double digits in each of the first 2 games.
And answering is Matthew Butler with a triple. The Butler did it. It's 8-7, and that was a big-time rejection. Nick King with the rejection, and then on the alley-oop, and he's fouled. So Nick King getting it done on both ends of the floor, Willie.
And Nick King asked for that alley-oop early, didn't get it initially. They threw it. I thought they threw it late, but the end result is a foul on Sorrell, and that is 2 on Sorrell early in this first quarter, and that is not good because Sorrell is the guy that they want matched up early on Nick King.
Exactly.
So that's a big, big play, and Sorrell will have to come out. Good move by Coach Applewhite. He's going to have to get Sorrell to the bench. So big minutes here coming up for Antonio Gillespie off the bench.
And as we mentioned, a lot of schools after King. His top 5, at least right now, Florida, Georgetown, Memphis, Texas, and North Carolina will probably be among the top in the class of 2013, as that pass was almost intercepted. And then coming away with it is Nick Wilson in the game for the first time, but it's stolen away.
It looked like a disaster initially there. They end up with the bucket off of it.
Yeah, Central getting on the board. A nice move baseline. And knocking it down. That is Irvin Morris.
Good job driving baseline there. Saw the angle and was able to finish. Really reached back. Didn't have a great angle to use the glass, but was able to do it.
5 lead changes as Myron Johnson's off the mark. And coming right back for the 3 and coming up empty was Matthew Butler, but a foul called underneath.
So Morris again, that time on the offensive glass. He did a great job here. He avoids the initial over the back call, going over Antonio Gillespie to get that rebound, the shorter player, and he never brought the ball down. He put it right back up off the glass quickly and drew the foul. And Gillespie was saying, hey, wait a minute, what could I do? I was just standing there. But Morris is going to the line.
Morris, who does the dirty work on this team. As we mentioned, great game against Science Hill. And East lead expands to 3.
So high tempo. East has 5 players that average double digits. So look for a lot of points to be scored in this game. Central, I think, would like to control the tempo a little bit more. You see East now extending their pressure full court.
Taj Kane checks into the game for Central for Sorrell. Taj Kane, a senior, has come off the bench pretty effectively this year for the Warriors. Working it on the wing is Myron Johnson. Gonna get back to Applewhite, pulls up. Off the mark. Here's East on the fly. Alexander, the trigger man, on the wing, and the miss by KJ Lawson. Here come the Warriors right back. Johnson moving in the paint, takes it all the way in. Can't find it. Another rebound for Lawson. Here come the Mustangs. Good work in the paint. The nice dish to Butler by
Alex Anderson with a beautiful feed there to Butler. He looked off the defense and just put it pinpoint right on the hands.
And almost a steal, or actually out of bounds. So no foul called. But a 5-point lead, largest of the game for Memphis East.
Watch this pass by Anderson. Look off the defense and it hit the trailer on the baseline, cutting to the basket. Matthew Butler says, thank you, Alex, for that dime. The kids still call it a dime every now and then when you get to pick up a dime? Pick up an assist?
Yeah, although cost of living might have upped it to a quarter.
Is number 10, Antonio Gillespie. He has 1.
So a 5-point lead with under 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Alexander Anderson was their top scorer last year, and then was asked by Coach Batchelor to be the point guard, to give up some of his scoring role and be the wheelman for this offense. And he accepted that role willingly and has done a great job.
So King comes out of the game for a possession or two. He won't be out long. He's back at the scorer's table, but
Lawson moving baseline, drew the block.
Unorthodox move by Sam Batchelor, taking out his franchise player, if you want to call it that, in the first quarter. You wouldn't see that very often, but he got him a quick breather. He's back in the game now.
First foul for Applewhite. Nice inbound pass to King, and the 1.
That's a great out-of-bounds play. They've lined up the same way each time underneath out of bounds, East has, and they've run the play to try to get King the ball. They ran the screener play there. King came back off and was able to reach back with that left hand and use the glass.
King already with 6 points has a chance to expand East's lead to 9. Left-hander. Tip loose, and a good play again by East, getting it back, and King. It may not be a 4-point play, but it's 4 points down the floor on that possession, and it's a 10-point lead for the Mustangs, and Coach Andre Applewhite wants to talk about it.
Well, the key on that was the missed free throw tip out by East. They didn't go for the ball. It was Irvin Morris on the missed free throw. Now watch on the right-hand side. Tipping it out, he didn't go for it, but he keeps it alive. And when you do that, you got a chance to get that extra possession. It ends back with King, and he's able to convert it. Big play, and right now, the Mustangs are out hustling the Central Warriors. And I can tell right now, Andre Applewhite not happy with his team's intensity in this game, falling behind. Remember, they've beaten this East team twice. So maybe a little complacency here in the early going, expecting this one to be close, but they'll have to turn it up a notch here.
All right, so Central has been down this road before. They're the Region 8 champions, District 16 runners-up, while Memphis East, third place in the district, and the region runner-up. Neither of these teams are region champions, which is a little odd that they're in the championship game.
It shows you how tough the basketball is in Memphis.
Myron Johnson lost possession of it, but Central retains it, and now Johnson has it back. Nice move in the lane, and the dish off, and the finish. Frank Herron, again getting it done down low. That stops a 16-2 East run.
That was a wicked crossover dribble by Myron Johnson.
Morris sealed off on the baseline, but finds an escape. And the foul is called. And it looks like a frustration foul on Irvin Morris, going after the shot and going through his man.
Now watch this crossover dribble right here. One-on-one with Butler. Butler falls down.
That's an ankle breaker.
That is an
it?
ankle. Now watch the feed here. This is just as impressive. Goes up, gets the two players in the air, and then dishes it perfectly to Frank Herron. We've had some nice feeds. 2 point guards right here, Anderson and Myron Johnson, who can really make it happen, driving the ball into the lane.
Well, Myron Johnson, his coach says, doesn't rattle, and he gets it to Jones, and then inside to Herron, another finish. So Frank Herron, not normally a scorer, averaging only about 3.5 points a game, but he's got 8 so far, and he's been the biggest offensive contributor. And going down on the other end, and a foul called as KJ Lawson hit the deck.
No foul. I don't understand how there was no call there. They missed that. There was feet tangled and everything. And that's got to be something, but they end up calling it a turnover. You got to like Frank Herron. He's got this thing figured out. Just stand off, get ready for the dish when one of those guards drives into that lane.
He has definitely been the beneficiary of some opportunities down low. And again, Johnson trying to force the issue in the paint.
Well, he's done it effectively there, but called for the travel on that one.
Too many steps. First turnover for Central. So the lead whittled to 6 here in the final minute.
You see Coach Batchelor telling his point guard Anderson what they want here. Let's see if they try to play for one shot. And Central will back off with 30 seconds and not press the issue.
First quarter winding down here at Murphy Center in Murfreesboro.
When you've got 4 of these in a game, and particularly 3 in the first three quarters of a game, it's so important who comes up with the big play to end that quarter with momentum.
Well, we'll see if they can get Nick King open for a shot.
That's who you're going to look for. Here he goes, number 5.
He drifts into the paint. There he is. King going to the rack, the up and under. Misses. And a jump ball called. It'll stay with East, and they'll have just over 1.6 seconds exactly.
So you got time for one dribble here, but you want to make it happen quick. They'll look for King again.
There it is underneath, and a foul called. They went inbounds to Nick Wilson.
So now you've got to get it right up. You got time to catch it and release it, Mark. You do not have time now for a dribble.
0.7 left. You see the clock. The alley-oop, no good. King had a good chance, but it stays out. So after one quarter, Memphis East leading Memphis Central 20-14. It's been 94 feet each way. We'll be back with the second quarter after this.
When people think about East Tennessee, they think about mountains, fall football, and of course community. That's why Home Federal Bank has teamed up with East Tennessee PBS to present this year's Be More Awards. It's a way we can recognize the people and organizations that help make each one of our communities such special places. So join Home Federal in celebrating the 2012 Be More Awards on East Tennessee PBS.
Hi, I'm Jeff Calkins, columnist for the Commercial Appeal. I'd like to congratulate all the teams that have made it to the Tennessee State Championships. It's funny, the dream of so many young kids is to make it to the NBA, but when you ask NBA players when they had the most fun playing basketball, they'll invariably tell you it was in high school. High school kids play for the joy of it, not the paychecks. High school kids really do care about the names on the fronts of their jerseys. High school kids listen to their coaches. High school kids have to go to class. And if high school kids don't maintain an appropriate grade point average, they take a seat in the bleachers with the rest of us. There are rewards for all this, of course, beyond the fleeting moments of glory. Studies have shown that student athletes tend to have lower dropout rates and fewer disciplinary problems than other students. They learn lessons that serve them forever. And that's why it's such a privilege for us at Tennessee Public Television to team up with the TSSAA to bring you every one of the championship games. They're the essence of what sports should still be. And to all the students, the parents, and their coaches, a hearty congratulations.
Public television has always been a part of my life. I'm Steve Heyman, and I was your typical young viewer of Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. Over the years, I've helped raise money for my local station. Now, as a businessman, I'm a sponsor of the programming and activities that are so important to our area. Today, I'm a very happy viewer enjoying watching local teams participate in the TSSAA championships from the comfort of my home. Thank you to the Tennessee Channel and the Tennessee Public Television stations for bringing us quality, entertaining, educational, and family programming.
Start of the second quarter of the boys Division I 3A championship. Memphis East leading Central by 6. Mark Howard along with Willie Donick. Let's quickly go to the third member of our team, Jonathan Hutton.
Kendall Poole is the director of the Governor's Highway Safety Office, and Kendall, once again, involved in partnering with the TSSAA this year.
Jonathan, it's always our pleasure to be a sponsor of TSSAA championship events. I can't think of a better partnership statewide that we have, and we have so many great ones. But the TSSAA hits the communities that we need to hit, the student athletes that we need to hit with the booze it and lose it message, the click it or ticket message, and distracted driving are all critical elements of our sponsorship.
What's the message you're pushing at this time of year?
Obviously, this time of the year, we're looking to save lives. The springtime, a lot more people on the road, so we want to make sure that everybody drives safely and continue to reduce the fatalities in Tennessee.
Thanks for the work, and thanks for partnering with high school athletics.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Guys, back to you.
All right, John, and we are back to action. Central closed a double-digit lead down to 6. And now they'll inbound to start the second quarter. Andre Applewhite with the ball in his hands. It's being marked by Nick Wilson still in the game. Some foul issues for each team. Myron Johnson drove it and then kicked it out to Herron, who after deliberating made a spin move and then he traveled. Frank Herron's not used to handling the ball for that long, Willie.
Yeah, he's the guy that has sort of been the man that's had to make the play. I'm not sure if that's the game plan by East, but it's probably a smart one if it is.
Well, the rebounding battle won by the Mustangs, and that's really the most decisive stat, along with the second chance points,
right,
7-0.
And the two are related for sure.
Nick King airballs it, and it goes out of bounds before Lawson can save it.
Yeah, it hit the baseline there, so that will at least give East a chance to set up their press.
Jones brings it across. Applewhite pulls up, and they got to get Andre Applewhite hot if they expect to come back here to the Warriors, who cut it to 4.
That's a tough shot he hit. That was good defense, but he really elevated to get that shot away from the free throw line.
Jalen Selman, number 24 in the game for the first time, a senior. We're doing the ball handling. Lawson, a drive, missed the rim, but a foul.
Well, this East team has such great length as they go to the basket. They are hard to guard, but Central certainly knows how to do it. We mentioned Central has beaten East twice, most recently in that regional final. It was not a loser elimination game, but it allowed Central to call themselves region champions, and as we mentioned, that went right down to the buzzer.
First foul on KJ Lawson. So Central with a chance to cut it to 2 or 1. Jones lost the handle, and regaining it was Butler. Down to King driving in. And Nick King taking it the other way. Applewhite and the foul. So a nice drive by Andre Applewhite. draws the contact, and here's the run out off the steal.
And I don't believe they counted that last bucket. I was just looking as you see Nick King finish that break off the turnover. They called that last foul before the shot.
It's really a tough break for Central, and then the steal by Lawson all the way down to Selman, who finishes.
Great finish by Jalen Selman running the court there. And you're right, big turn of events. That call being on the floor cost what could have been a three-point play, and then it turns into an easy bucket for East as they turn it over on the inbounds pass.
Myron Johnson in some traffic, again some contact, and they call the block.
You notice how quickly East is able to turn a turnover into a quick move going the other way, and they can finish at the rim very hard. That's why Central has got to limit those turnovers, and they've got to make sure they have defensive balance. But when you turn it over, sometimes you can't get back on defense, especially the way this team attacks the rim. If you notice what they like to do on offense, Mark, Central likes to spread the court, and they like to dribble, penetrate, draw the help, and then kick it to the wings. But they've got some guys who can really make it happen on the drive with Applewhite, Jones, and Johnson, all capable of beating their man off the drive.
Nick Wilson's second foul will take him out of the game. Myron Johnson, again, pretty good free throw shooter, 75%, but he bricked that one. Latarius Brady, who doesn't play all that much, getting some primetime minutes with just over 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. Brady's a big kid, he's 6'5". And play the post. So the lead is now 7 for the Mustangs.
So right now you've got Sorrell back in the game with 2 fouls for Central, as you see Heron getting a break. As right now Coach Applewhite over for Central trying to manage his bench. He's got a little foul trouble, trying to get his starters some rest, but at the same time trying to keep anybody from getting that third foul.
And they go back into his zone, and trying to bust that zone successfully is Selman. So Selman coming off the bench, and he has been providing quite a pick-me-up. Largest lead now 11. Applewhite misses. Butler with the carom. And Selman, who can handle that point guard spot. Butler moving on his opposite number, Jones.
Central goes back into the man-to-man. Check that, they will stay in the zone.
A bullet pass inside, and Butler, or Brady rather, misses. And Applewhite comes away with it.
That was a big-time block shot by Applewhite. Recovering fast because that looked like it was going to be an easy layup.
Jones called for the offensive foul. So Josh Jones trying to make something happen. 5th turnover for Central. Andre Applewhite can't like what he's seeing.
You try to get these stops. To do that, you've got to have a great one-on-one defense. That was a good job by Matthew Butler sliding those feet and getting there first to draw the charge.
7 fouls now on Central. He's trying to break this game open, leading by 10.
And try to get to King, but East has done a good job when they have taken King away with 2 guys maybe shaded towards him. The open man's been able to hit the shot.
So a whistle. First foul on on Myron Johnson.
You see Tony Harris, the guy in the middle on the bench there, former University of Tennessee player. Played at East High School himself.
Yeah.
One of the quickest foul line to foul line guards that I can remember seeing. He was fantastic in that area of the court.
And Selman misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Myron Johnson splitting the defenders, was deflected by King, and East comes back with it. Trying to dribble out of trouble is Butler. Pulls up in the lane, and Matthew Butler gives the Mustangs a 12-point lead.
Central getting a little frustrated here.
Butler hit 2 key free throws late in the quarterfinal win over Blackman. A clutch performer this season for the Mustangs. Applewhite draws contact. Will he get 3?
That'll be 2 shots. He was inside the line, but That was much needed. Applewhite forcing the issue, just coming right down the court and pulling up, and he was bailed out. Brady did not want to foul him there. Didn't mean to, but sometimes when certain shooters sort of lean into the shot a little bit, their momentum goes forward. You think you've got the hand in the face, you think you're in the good spot, but your momentum carries you into them, and that is the type of foul you don't need.
Well, Samuel Batchelor said of his East team, he says they have great chemistry. They play for each other. The tougher the game, the tougher they play. And they have shown that this afternoon. 12-point lead with just over 4 minutes to go in the second quarter.
We mentioned how good this Central team is usually at the free throw line, but they've missed a few here in this first half.
2 of 5 and now 3 of 6 as Applewhite slices the deficit to 11.
Central going with a 2-2-1 three-quarter court trap.
Getting it down underneath. Nick King, the left-hander, no good. Soaring high for the rebound. And getting tagged pretty hard was Applewhite.
Well, some definitely unnecessary fouls here. It's getting a little bit physical. Referees taking control, blowing the whistle a lot. And the problem with that is eventually it is going to cost you in some foul trouble. Nobody has more than 2 for either team right now, but now these coaches are in a bit of a dilemma. Still a lot of time left in this first half, and the rule of thumb is you don't want anybody to get 3. So benches will be important here.
Central now in the bonus. Brady is a guy who doesn't play a lot, but he's a big body, and you could essentially say he's 5 fouls they can use.
Kind of like Greg Kite of the 80s Celtics for that generation.
Good old Greg Kite.
Fouls to give.
Andre Applewhite, described by his dad, the coach, a tough, smart player. You got to be mentally tough to play for your father. I really believe that, but it also helps that he's probably the best player on the team. But Applewhite says it's surreal to be here. They've dreamed about playing in the championship game, and here they are as the East lead trimmed to 9.
Again, Applewhite at the head of that defense, trying to force the play to the sideline. But Central really not double teaming out of that, just trying to corral East as they come down the court so far.
Looking to make a pass and then spinning baseline and missing everything was Irvin Morris. And now on the other end and finishing is Applewhite and the foul. So he will go to the line and try to complete a 3-point play. And Willie, just as you said, if Central's getting back in this game, it'll have to be on the back of Andre Applewhite.
Well, Applewhite had a slow start, didn't get involved much in the first quarter, but he's starting to get his rhythm some offensively. He gets a nice pass there from Josh Jones after the air ball. It was a good job by Sorrell to get that outlet pass, get the break started.
Foul shot missed. So the lead's still down to 7. Anderson on the pull-up. So Alex Anderson showing a little bit of offense. Applewhite right back. Almost lost it out of the double team. Jones in the corner. Myron Johnson misses the 3. And now on the run out is East, taking it all the way in is Selman. Nice finish.
Selman averages 2.5 points a game for the season, but he had 10 in the semifinal, and here he is off the bench with 7 in the first half.
A wild little bit of out-of-control baseline drive by Sorrell. We better be careful because he's got 2 fouls. The alley-oop to King is stolen away by Sorrell. Baseball pass to Applewhite. Thought about drawing the foul, but he still got the deuce. Lawson almost fouled him.
Wide open play, back and forth.
Here's Morris with the drive, and he goes to the floor. So it looks like Herron will pick up the foul.
And that was a hard foul there. We mentioned Greg Kite.
Forget-me-not.
That's kind of like that old NBA no layup rule there. You see the baseline drive. Now this is the Indiana. Watch the finish here by Jalen Selman. They didn't used to let you do those 2 steps, that European crossover as you finish your dribble, but Selman did it perfectly there. And then going back the other way, it was Applewhite finishing after the block shot. The tough thing about East is King is so tough. He can take over a game, no doubt about it. But the other guys on East can all hurt you. So if you cheat too far towards King, you got other guys who can make a play. including that guy right there. Irvin Morris has had a good first half.
As we mentioned, unlike last night where they came from 18 behind to beat Science Hill, Memphis East playing from ahead today as their lead expands to 11.
That's what we talked about in our keys to the game. You want to establish King, and he did early in the game, but now with Central shading towards him, you got a second guy nearby. It opens up the rest of the court for those capable Mustang players.
Central trying to eat into this lead. Johnson being marked by Anderson. Active hands on the east side have gotten into the passing lanes at times as Jones misses that three, triggers the break. Pulling up is Anderson in and out and trying to get the tip unsuccessfully. Nick King, and will go back to Central.
It's been an interesting flow to this first half. Not a lot of long stretches without a whistle. It's been hard fought, a lot of fouls. Each team trying to establish their turf. And they're both very active on defense. They'll reach, they'll try to get those deflections, they'll go for steals, they'll double team.
17 rebounds. I'm sorry, 17 fouls for Central.
Oh my goodness.
Weaving in and out of traffic and missing was Myron Johnson. But finally there on the second chance.
It's Heron again. The garbage man.
Picking up the trash.
He's been doing it all game. But what a crossover move that was by Myron Johnson. He didn't make the basket, but he attracted all kinds of attention so the garbage man Heron could go in there and get it.
And going for three and missing it is Butler, but gets his own rebound and then makes a bad pass intended for King, but the ball deflected out of bounds by Central.
Well, Central's got to do a better job of boxing out the shooter. That's the cardinal sin. As Butler let that three go, he wasn't even going to go after the rebound, but nobody boxed him out. It came right back to him.
So Butler the trigger here on this inbound. Tees up the alley-oop to King, didn't quite get it, and then an offensive foul called by King, backing in, and standing his ground was Andre Applewhite.
Well, you can tell how familiar these teams are with each other. That's an out-of-bounds play that I'm sure East runs all the time, and all of their out-of-bounds underneath, as you mentioned, have King right in the middle of the lane trying to make it happen one way or the other. Central knows exactly what's coming there. They've done a very good job defending those plays for the most part, although East did get a couple of times where they drew a foul off the play in the first quarter.
Getting down to the final minute of the half. You know it's going to be in Applewhite's hands on the baseline, pulls up, second chance, batted around Heron again, and Frank Heron in and out on the third try, and he committed a frustration foul after that miss. So ample opportunities for the Warriors, but the ball wouldn't go down.
Boy, they had some good looks there. They isolated Dre Applewhite. They just posted him up with his back to the basket and then cleared it out for him from that baseline. He had a good look, and then Heron got himself an opportunity. You can tell he's still sore with himself. And you see that happen a lot in basketball. You miss one where you feel like you should make it, you're a little bit frustrated, and you reach in and pick up a tic-tac foul.
Well, East is now in the double bonus as Lawson can't find it. He had 9 points against Blackman, but last night, again, had a huge game against Science Hill, 12 points, 7 boards. So the lead back to double digits. And we'll see if Central holds for the last shot.
I don't think you can here, Mark. Down 10. I think you just run your offense.
Josh Jones moving on Lawson. Jones slices to the basket, but they call him for walking.
Now with 32 seconds or thereabouts, I think you'll see East now maybe play for the last shot if they can. Up by 10 with 30 seconds, I think that's what you do.
So another turnover, and with a 10-point lead, East will most definitely hold for that last shot. And again, we look for Nick King.
Let's see what they try to do to get King the ball. Although, as we mentioned, East has got a lot of guys who can make it, but you can tell they're trying to get their alignment. You want to go with about 10, so it's time to make it happen.
King has the ball. And this time for three and off the mark Butler. But getting the rebound and missing everything was Selman as the buzzer sounds.
But we had a foul called right as the buzzer was sounding. Let's see what they do. This could end up being a 1-and-1 for Central to get a couple of cheap points with no time on the clock.
Yeah, Dre Applewhite looks like he'll get the chance.
And so he'll get 2 shots because that's team foul number 10.
And 2 fouls on KJ Lawson. So Applewhite in the double bonus. Has 9 points so far.
And the red light is still on the backboard. They need to turn that off, but Dre Applewhite maybe might just say leave it on because they hit the first one fine. They're going to put a 1/10 of a second back on. So if that's the case, then I guess you should theoretically have to inbound the ball. But the scoreboard clock says 0.1 seconds.
Well, they're going to tell them to go to the locker rooms.
Yeah,
half is over. So an 8-point lead for Memphis East over Central. And let's go to Jonathan Hutton.
A very physical game, fast-paced game. You've got to like the lead at the half.
Yeah, but I guarantee you it's not over. We played this team too many times, so we can't get relaxed. We got to come out with the same intensity for the second half in order for us to be successful.
That's the message that you'll tell your guys in about 5 minutes?
Definitely. We got to finish the ball game. It's not over.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mark, back to you.
All right, Jonathan, 36-28 the score, Memphis East leading. So we'll go to our halftime festivities here at Murfreesboro, at Murphy Center on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. 36-28 Memphis East. And now a word from our PBS stations.
Great game between these two Memphis teams, Memphis East, Memphis Central. Lots of crowd spirit, and you know, Sonia, it's also St. Patrick's Day, so the green is showing well here.
I know. I thought of that when they came in. I thought, oh my goodness, they are ready to go.
That's right. That's right. It's a great game. Really exciting. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope our friends, sister station WKNO in Memphis and WLJT in the Lexington, Martin, Jackson area are having lots of fans watch today.
Yes, and I tell you this. Like you said, the crowd is really excited, and I think it's going to be a hard pick between the Spirit Award on this game.
I think so too. I totally agree. And you know, it's an opportunity for you to support your public television station right now by becoming a member. They're waiting and standing by to take your calls. And even though these two teams are from Memphis, they have fans and you know, alums all across the state. And that's what happens when you see these championship games. There are people who are supportive throughout the state. So wherever you live, we hope that if you're a fan of high school basketball, you'll go to the phone and give them a call, right, Sonia?
That's right. And remember that certain membership level where you were able to get the DVD of your choice and call that into your local station, because we know we've got grandparents, aunts, uncles, all kinds of family members that maybe couldn't come out to Murphy Center today to enjoy this game. So that gives them a chance to have the game for memories that last a lifetime. So just think about that and look at that number going across the bottom of your screen and calling your support to your local public television station.
Man, this car is amazing. These seats feel so good. And the speakers are crazy good.
No, seat warmers too, man. 470 horsepower.
Can't wait till we go to the club.
Man, just imagine, we're gonna get all the ladies.
Come on, guys, this is a nice car, but let's get back to work.
Just some of the many reasons to support public broadcasting, you know, and the fact that we work together with each sister station in the state to bring you programming on the Tennessee channel, to bring these incredible high school championship games. And Sonia, we've got a barn burner right now today.
Oh, I know it. I can't wait to see the rest of this game. I'm all into it. I just enjoy it so much.
So much fun to be here courtside, and so we hope that you feel like you're courtside right at home by watching your public television station. And doing so, give us a call right now. We're all standing by waiting to take your membership dollars.
That's right. That's the thing about public television is when you're not able to come out here to the Murphy Center, you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own home at any time. And whether it's the TSSAA games or I saw the information on Globe Trekker go across through there, it brings everything into your home. Concerts, documentaries, we have it all. So it's a great opportunity to enjoy that right at home.
And your membership dollars do so much to bring this kind of programming as well as programming from PBS and all throughout Tennessee. So we hope that you'll take this opportunity and support your local public television station by calling the number on your screen right now. It's exciting championship action today. This is the last of our 3-game series for this year, but we'll be bringing you spring sports coming up pretty soon, and then of course football again in the fall. Right? So we want you to go to the phone right now, give us a call, and pledge your support. It's important. These championship students have made their way here to the court, and we need your support as well to back their action with your membership.
That's right. And as I was mentioning before, even if you are not able to do the levels that you see come across for membership, each station has a basic membership, and that is just a dime a day. So when you think about that, it doesn't take much at all to pledge your support to your local public television station. So just call that number at the bottom of your screen.
I see history.
I see numbers.
I see music. I see spaceships. I see a butterfly.
Each year, the School Advocates for Vision and Education in Memphis makes it possible for hundreds of school children to get the glasses they need, all for free.
I see my future.
So whatever they see better. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee supports them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is for Tennessee.
I see you.
See how Blue Cross is impacting your community at bcbst.com/impact.
Take me home tonight.
You can choose the back seat, or we'll choose one for you.
There are many reasons why 96% of First Tennessee customers would recommend us. Here are a few.
Well, what I love about First Tennessee is that everybody knows me when I walk through the door.
They actually get excited when they see you could walk into the branch, and I love that.
They can't stop me from singing the praises of my bank.
Would I go anywhere else? Absolutely not.
I'm a 96.
I'm a 96.
I'm a 96.
Are you a 96?
Come see why 96% of our customers would recommend us.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the TSSAA network, go to TSSAAnetwork.com/SBP.
We are at halftime of the Class 3A state championship game. Memphis East leading Memphis Central 36-26. Mark Howard along with Willie Donick and Jonathan Hutton. And actually 36-28 with those 2 late free throws by Andre Applewhite. And let's check out some of the first half highlights, Will.
Well, it's all about dribble penetration for Central. Nice job there with the feed to Andre Applewhite. Dre finishes, and then that great crossover move and dish by Myron Johnson. And then the long distance pass and that total frenzy with the lay-in there again by Applewhite. But East had their share of success as well. Nick King, their superstar. That was his first touch of the game. I mentioned East has got a lot of guys that can hurt you. Aggressive defense. Getting some offense from the defense here with King with a good finish. He had a nice first half in double digits with 10 points. And then off the bench, Jalen Selman with 7 points, averaging just under 3 points a game for the season. But he has been a big instant offense off the bench for East in this tournament.
And checking out some of the stats, Willie, field goals fairly even, but after that, a lot of the damage done by East in the paint.
Well, you take a look at the fouls, and there's both teams getting double-digit free throw attempts, which is not on there. And you see East off the bench getting the 7 points from Selman. That certainly helped. But a high volume, a high possession game back and forth. Still a long way to go. I thought it was important for each team. Despite all of the players picking up 2 fouls, you got 7 guys who have 2, but nobody picked up 3.
What's Andre Applewhite telling his team in the central locker room?
I think you go right back to the game plan at the start. You've been able to manage through it, not get anything major with the foul trouble. Just go in there, chip away at it. Plenty of time left in this game.
And Jonathan is with Coach Applewhite.
Thanks, Mark. Coach Willie just mentioned the foul trouble in the first half. Several fouls called, but you were able to get out of the first half without any player picking up their 3rd foul. That's critical for you going into the second half.
Right. It's amazing now. It allows us to get back to doing some of the things that we want to do. So we'll adjust. We're going to pick up on our transition defense. We'll be pretty good. We'll be all right.
What was the message to your group at the half?
Basically, just to get back on our transition defense. Let's match up, do a better job of rebounding, and just settle into this game.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Mark, back to you.
All right, John. And all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the beginning of the second half here in Murphy Center in Murfreesboro. Memphis East sitting on an 8-point lead.
I see history.
I see numbers.
I see music. I see spaceships. I see a butterfly.
Each year, the School Advocates for Vision and Education in Memphis makes it possible for hundreds of school children to get the glasses they need, all for free.
I see my future.
So whatever they see better. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee supports them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is for Tennessee.
I see you.
See how Blue Cross is impacting your community at bcbst.com/impact.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you.
One shot at this.
All right, Memphis East leading by 8 to start the second half. And the Mustangs, against the team Memphis Central, they lost to twice in 3 meetings, and 2 of those defeats by buzzer beaters.
So this would be game 4 of a series if it was an NBA playoff series.
Anderson with the penetration, and Sorrell in his path. And if that's a foul, that's 3 on Sorrell. And that's exactly the case, Willie. A bad start to the second half for Memphis Central.
Well, they got 2 fouls very early in the first quarter and then escaped without picking up his 3rd. But right off the bat picks up number 3, so that's not good for Central.
Coach Applewhite hasn't blinked yet. I think he's going to keep Sorrell in as long as he can. They're down by 8. He needs one of his best players in the game.
I think you've got to take him out here.
And firing is Butler for the 3. So Matthew Butler, who averaged almost 17 points a game during the regular season, has 10 now with that triple, and it's an 11-point lead again for the Mustangs.
And he hasn't shot it particularly well in this tournament. He went 3 for 10 in the quarterfinal, but he shot it better in the semifinal yesterday, and now he's picked it up another level today.
Do you have a technical? There were 3 technicals called in the first game. So the officials will penalize you for exercising your verbal skills. And apparently that's the case because Applewhite is there at the free throw line. Andre Applewhite, the coach, lost 3 players to start the season. And one defection notable because he is now with Tennessee Vol in a move we've never seen before.
And via Twitter, I hear that Jarnell Stokes is watching the game today and a lot of his former teammates. And I think he, along with Coach Applewhite, confident. You could tell Coach Applewhite was confident his team can get back in the game. Maybe this is a little boost that they need with Applewhite going to the free throw line here. But
they teed up Alex Anderson. That's his 2nd foul.
Got to convert at that free throw line. Can you imagine adding Jarnell Stokes? Remember, it's not like he's a college freshman. He is high school age, so he could be out here.
Like making a trade.
But it's pretty remarkable that this team got this far. They're on the cusp of a state championship despite not having Jarnell Stokes, as great as he is.
And Applewhite misses both.
Big missed opportunity.
And Applewhite considered what they call a mid-level Division I prospect. They're talking Tulane, Murray State, UT Martin. But a lot of people think he's underrated.
Well, Central needs a jump start here. It's been a very stagnant start to the second half. Couple of fouls, missed technical free throws. You gave up a 3, and all of a sudden you're in a little bit of a bigger hole.
Myron Johnson mirrored by Butler. Again, Applewhite initiates contact, and they blow the whistle on Nick Wilson. That would be Wilson's third.
Well, once again, we mentioned it. Nobody had 3 in the first half, but if they keep playing defense like that, we're going to have some serious issues at the end of the game.
So Applewhite back to the free throw line. Again, he's a 75% shooter, but he missed the first 2. You hope he doesn't have the yips there, Willie.
Well, he's just got to relax. You can't worry about the shot before. If you let the shot before affect the next shot, that's when it gets into your head.
Applewhite 5 of 10 from the stripe so far in this game. Happy thoughts.
Still a long way to go in this game.
So it's a 10-point lead for the Mustangs. Butler getting it inside to King, backing in the left hand. Oh, unbelievable. Just when you think you got him, they called steps, but still, Willie, even when it looks like he doesn't have a shot, he gets a shot.
Well, one thing Central knows, though, they know his tendencies. They're making it tough. He hasn't had a whole lot easy today.
Only the 5th turnover for East, and trying to jump stop was Myron Johnson, but again, he took steps.
Back-to-back travels.
That's 8 turnovers for Central. And what has been a game with a pretty frenetic pace. Alex Anderson inside, in and out. KJ Lawson pulling down the rebound and getting it to Applewhite, and he draws the foul.
Well, the aggressiveness is going to start backing off here sooner or later because you can't keep fouling. There's another foul. And fortunately for East, actually that call went against
that was Nick Wilson, and he's got 4
fouls.
So we mentioned Frank Herron having a big game, 10 points so far. Signed as a football player at Tennessee. Nice baseline move for Applewhite.
We see the defense getting a little softer there because you can't afford to keep fouling. And Applewhite is going to have a chance to keep going to the free throw line or get some better opportunities as this game goes on.
Anderson to Nick King, who tees up the 3 off the mark, soaring for the rebound, Josh Jones. And here come the Warriors again. Passing up the shot in the corner with Sorrell. Applewhite falls down. They were looking for him.
They want to post him up against Butler. He's got a height advantage, and they're going to get Butler again.
So Myron Johnson trying to find Applewhite in almost every possession, and it's been a path to the free throw line so far for Memphis Central.
See, there is backing in. It's kind of an NBA feel to Central's offense. Once they get the ball to Applewhite, they just want to isolate him. They feel like they've got a good matchup there, and if he has room to operate, he's going to score or get fouled, and Central can tend to do that. He's got a height advantage on Matthew Butler, and watch, they'll go right back to it here.
His dad thinks Andre Applewhite has his best basketball ahead of him. They can cut the lead down to 5 or 6.
So again, NBA, work the matchup that you're comfortable with. I couldn't get it to him there. Butler did a good job of denying.
Josh Jones with the ball. He can shoot. Now he passes off to Herron. He's a little out of his range. Sorrell.
So Butler just fronting. Look at number 11. He's trying to deny him. You might want to try to lob. He can't see it. You could probably get a lob pass over his head, but he's cheating the front.
East in the zone, and Josh Jones shoots over it. That triple cuts it to 5.
So Jones just takes a look and says, I can't get the ball to Applewhite, so I'll just go ahead and take this three. So we're right back in it, down 5, a 6-0 run.
Coach Sam Batchelor wants to talk about it. So East leading by a score of 39-34. And Willie, one of your favorite shows, Antiques Roadshow, real people sharing real stories with real experts, one treasure at a time. Don't miss the all-new season of Antiques Roadshow on this PBS station. So 39-34, early in the third quarter, and Memphis Central has come out with a vengeance on a 6-0 run. And East all of a sudden has some foul issues.
Well, you heard the caution from Sam Batchelor as he was being interviewed on the way to the bench or to the locker room at halftime. He said, I guarantee you this game is not over. These two teams very familiar with each other.
All right, you can purchase a DVD copy of any of the Division I or Division II Blue Cross Championship basketball games. Log on to TSSAA.network.com and look for the green Buy Now button. I'm trying to buy one inside, but getting called for traveling. KJ Lawson. 6 turnovers, and all of a sudden, Central can make this a one-possession game.
All right, let's see what they try to do here once again. They're walking him down into the post. Applewhite. This time Nick King gets the defensive assignment.
Slowing the pace down. Applewhite gets loose, passes up the 3, goes for 2. Off the mark. Butler high for the rebound.
Forced that one.
Pushes tempo. Passes out on the wing to King, who can't finish. But on the follow, it's missed. Herron slaps it with that big right paw. But Brady in the game. Another big body. It's almost like a hockey game, Willie. There's a lot of contact, very physical down low, and guys who know each other. They're playing a little bit of an intimidation game, but Applewhite whistled for his second foul, in the half on Central.
Well, you cannot play in this game if you're soft. If you come out here and you're soft, you're going to get the ball taken from you virtually every time you've got it. You've got to be strong with it because those guys are going to really be ball hawks, especially when you pick up that dribble.
Anderson trying to move on Johnson. Instead goes to Brady. They funnel it underneath. Stolen away by Applewhite. He brings it back uptown. The bounce pass to Myron Johnson. Josh Jones passing up the shot. There's Sorrell hunting for his shot. Sorrell gets it back for 3. And Sorrell cuts it to a 2-point game. Back-to-back turnovers for East. And the Mustangs see their lead melt to 2.
Sorrell hit double digits in each of the last 2 games, and that was his first good look from the outside. They just left him. They left him wide open, and he's been perfect from 3 in the tournament. He's now 4 for 4 here in Murfreesboro.
A 9-0 run to start the half, and the ball is stripped away by Johnson. Myron Johnson with those quick hands. Brings it down, little bounce pass in the corner for 3, no good. But Applewhite right there for the follow, he's got it. And he can go to the line to put Memphis Central ahead. The Warriors on an 11-0 run have a chance to take the lead.
Well, Applewhite's been going to work down there on the glass. You can see him fighting for position, ready to get the carom. Now watch Nick King. He thought he had all ball there. Not much contact, but they call it. And so Applewhite has a chance to complete a 3-point play to keep this run going.
KJ Lawson tagged with his 3rd foul.
Applewhite putting up some good numbers there, working on double-double pace. Just like that, Central's in the lead.
And Applewhite has 17. A 1-point lead for Memphis Central. 3 turnovers in a row, 7 points off those turnovers. So Central opportunistic here in the 3rd quarter. Butler against his opposite number, Jones. Get it inside to King, moving on Herron, but he walked. Sometimes officials let you make that move, Willie, some don't. And Nick King got whistled there for taking steps.
Well, let's see what a great player like Nick King can do here. He's a little frustrated. Things have not gone his way in this third quarter. At that time, I think he was anticipating contact, and so he braced himself for it, but he shuffled the feet because Central backed off. That was a good move by Central's defense.
Andre Applewhite calls the timeout. The last time his team had been in front was midway through the first quarter at 10-9. So they have erased a double-digit deficit and now lead in this game 40-39.
So Samuel Batchelor warned everybody at halftime.
Now earlier today in the 2A game, CPA under Coach Drew Maddox won its first state championship, beating Mitchell 78-64. A lot of talent on that Lions team, a lot of talent on the floor, but for the Lions, a first state champ. So they sweep, winning the boys and the girls titles, Willie.
Fourth team to do that,
for that school
in history.
And coming up, I'll be here along with Ron Bargatze for the 1A championship game. Friendship Christian against Perry County. That should be a good one as well.
So the TSSAA deciding to switch up the order of the championship games. It used to go 1, 2, 3 every year. They decided to shuffle up the deck and have the 1A guys at the prime time this year.
Well, it didn't matter where they were going to put this game. You knew it was going to be a good one, and Central versus East living up to the billing. The East really had to scratch and claw to get here as Applewhite moves in on Butler, and the shot is deflected away. Here comes Jalen Selman back in the game. He's been outstanding. Wings it out to Butler. Matthew Butler hits the triple.
Butler just locked horns on defense with Applewhite on the previous trip. A lot of body contact. Everybody holding their ground, no call, and then he's open for the tray on the other end. Big sequence. See, that's the type of foul. You keep reaching in like that, there's going to be a lot of free throws shot, but that is sort of the MO of both of these teams. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to go for steals.
Coach Batchelor said, and he talked about the route that Memphis East had to take to get here. They went through second-ranked Southwind. That was, of course, the school that Stokes wanted to go to, and they beat them at Southwind. They beat Melrose, and then came through Bartlett, which is quite a gauntlet to run, especially on the road. And then, of course, they beat arguably the best team in this field, Science Hill. So, and they're down by 18.
Big front end miss there by Applewhite, as they'll be in the 1-and-1 the rest of the game. So you got to convert those. Normally a very good free throw shooter, Applewhite. Central goes zone.
Under 2 minutes to go. As we mentioned, Selman has provided his team with a pick-me-up coming off the bench.
And look at the sagging defense as they front Nick King. King trying to avoid being frustrated.
Selman the penetration move, and Heron got him with his belly.
So they're making it tough for Nick King to get the ball in the area that he wants it. And if you look at King, number 5 right now, very frustrated. He's got to keep his cool. He's got to get a deep breath here and know that there's still a lot of basketball left to be played.
3 fouls on Frank the Tank Heron. Now Jalen Selman, called by his coach a game changer. He really ups the tempo when he's in there. And they put him in when they're down, and he seems to give them energy, and that's exactly the case today. Selman having an outstanding game. 7 points, looking for his 8th here, and a 3-point lead for East. Under 2 minutes to go. So the Mustangs answering after a major Central run, put the Warriors in the game. There's Heron moving down low, missing everything. And again, Nick King with the rebound. And Applewhite's got to be careful not to foul him. Quickly in transition, pulling up, and an air ball for Morris. And the home run pass to Applewhite, who throws it down.
End-to-end action there. Applewhite never did get down the court. Saw that the air ball was coming, just said, well, I might as well stay down. And a nice feed to get it all the way down the court. That was Sorrell delivering it on the money. Easy bucket.
Good anticipation by Applewhite to break down court, and it's a 1-point game with just over a minute to go.
Another huge game for Dre Applewhite. He's got 19 already, had 29 yesterday, 23 in the quarters.
Pass out to Butler, who nails the 3. Matthew Butler finding his range. It's a 4-point lead now for East. Sorrell missing. Morris with the rebound. Back up court in a hurry. And down to finish, Selman. Jalen Selman, a 6-point lead. Johnson penetrates and then decides to bring it back out. And he draws the foul from Selman. Jalen Selman, 10 points. Performing heroically off the bench for Memphis East.
Yeah, 10 yesterday as well. It's a team that uses its bench well, but they don't get much offense off the bench. But he's been the guy that's done it today.
9-2 run for East after they fell behind by 2.
Central's got to take advantage of these free throws. They're in the 1-and-1. And if they are strong with the ball, especially the way East plays defense, the aggressiveness, if they're strong with the ball and don't turn it over, they're going to get fouled and shoot a lot of free throws here.
4-point game on what is probably the final possession of the third quarter. And Alex Anderson holding on to it.
So playing for one shot, big possession here. Let's see if East can get a lift.
You always have to look for Nick King. He's down on the block with Heron. There's the drive. And a nice finish there by Irvin Morris. And a turnover, but a 6-point lead. And all things considered, Memphis East weathered that storm nicely after Central took the lead. East, which fell behind by 2, back up by 6 after 3 quarters. 50-44, Memphis East. Buckle up, it should be a great fourth quarter from here in Murfreesboro.
The 2012 Blue Cross Basketball Championships are brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, proud corporate sponsor of the TSSAA, and by the Governor's Highway Safety Office, who reminds you don't drink and drive, and by your local Tennessee Public Television stations, proud host of the 2012 Blue Cross Basketball Championships.
I see history.
I see numbers.
I see music. I see spaceships. I see a butterfly.
Each year, the School Advocates for Vision and Education in Memphis makes it possible for hundreds of school children to get the glasses they need, all for free.
I see my future.
So whatever they see better. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee supports them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is for Tennessee.
I see you.
See how Blue Cross is impacting your community at bcbst.com/impact.
Take me home tonight.
You can choose the back seat. Or we'll choose one for you.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the TSSAA network, go to TSSAAnetwork.com/SBP.
Welcome back to Murphy Center. 3 quarters in the books. Memphis East leading Memphis Central 50-44 for the 3A state championship. Mark Howard along with Willie Donick. Let's go to the third member of our crew, Jonathan Hutton.
Catherine Smith is with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and she joins us now. Catherine, Blue Cross Blue Shield once again involved with the TSSAA.
Yes, it's been a great partnership. Ever since 2000, we've partnered with TSSAA, and
course, you know, we're also part of the Blue Cross Bowl and Blue Cross Spring Fling. So this is our second year out at Blue Cross Basketball Championships, and it's just been a great atmosphere and a lot of fun for us.
And just like football, the fan face-off is back.
Yes, we do have the fan face-off, and it's all Facebook bound this time around. There's no texting contest, but we're, of course, still trying to get the school spirit involvement. So you just go to our Facebook page and enter in what school you're supporting, and that school could win $1,000 by the end of Saturday, and potentially yourself, you could be entered to win the $100 gift card. So it's a win-win.
How can they find the Facebook page again?
So it's facebook.com/BCBST Champions.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Jonathan angling for that $100 gift card.
He wanted to make sure I could see him over there taking notes right now, making sure he can get on there and on that prize.
So Central will inbound to start the fourth quarter.
Stage is set for a big finish here, Mark.
The fourth meeting this season between the two teams. Central took 2, East took 1, but this one obviously the most important. Josh Jones passing it out to Myron Johnson. Great court vision, says his coach, and he found Andre Applewhite. So he gets the dime, and the deficit is now 4.
Well, we talked about patience and the controlled tempo that Central likes to do. They waited and waited until they got the ball to the guy they wanted to get it to, and that was Applewhite, and he did it from there.
Coach Applewhite, gets a lot of credit when they faced Ottawa in the quarterfinals. He threw a 2-2-1 press that nobody on the other side had really seen in the scouting reports, and it really flummoxed them and led to a 67-54 win. They're on the second chance. Getting the basket in the foul is Irvin Morris. So a three-point opportunity for the Mustangs.
Well, you take a look at the third quarter stats. A lot of field goals going up there. And look at the free throws for each team. We talked about how important that is going to be down the stretch. All 10 of those points off the bench, by the way, are from Jalen Selman, who is in there now. He continues to get the assignment here for East down the stretch. But one thing I'm noticing here is East getting plenty of offense with no points in the third quarter from Nick King, their leader and superstar player. So be interesting to see how it goes down the stretch here if they open things up for King.
And something to know, Willie, 3 fouls now on Applewhite.
He's got to be careful. They need him on the floor.
7-point game. Applewhite. Nice pass down low to Herron.
Oh!
In and out of the cylinder.
How did that not go down?
So Herron, after a quick start, shooting in bad luck. Alex Anderson, nice baseline pass. Morris has it rejected, and back come the Warriors. Here's Johnson in the paint. Left hand from Myron Johnson. Great balance, as I mentioned, using that excellent court vision to finish and cut the deficit to 5.
Boy, is shifty with that crossover dribble. That was a great decision, too. He wanted to dish, but then used the glass straight on.
Nick King moving on Herron. Backed him off and got the lead up to 7.
But once again, that foul trouble building. You can't play as aggressively as you want against King. And King easily took Herron that time. Herron playing with 3 fouls.
12 points for King. Sorrell for 3. So Darius Sorrell, coaches told him to start the year that a lot of their success would hinge on him, and he has answered this year. And picking up the foul as he cut to the basket.
And there's the no layup rule again.
Yeah, exactly, was King.
So here's Sorrell. Will get the return pass and knock down this 3. He continues to be outstanding from the arc during this tournament. He's been fantastic. Doesn't take very many. Only takes it when it's open, but knocks it down. And then he commits his 4th foul. Actually, they charged that foul to Herron. I was wondering if it was going to be Sorrell or Herron.
That's 4 on Frank the Tank.
Either way, it would have been the player's 4th foul. So Frank has 4. And once again, remember, Central doesn't have any size off that bench at all. Only some guards to go to. And the foul trouble is mounting here. They can stick with their game plan, but it's going to be tough to guard this guy right here if the player that's on him has got either 3 or 4 fouls.
And Nick King averaging 21 points and 15.5 rebounds during the regular season. He's piling up amazing stats. And on top of it, as Coach Sam Batchelor says, great kid, a big game player, and as we told you before, rated among the top 15 prospects for the class of 2013. And Batchelor said his guys had to get used to a new system. He's a first-year coach. He was the girls' assistant coach and got elevated to the #1 job with the boys, but they were running a motion offense early, and he decided to scrap that because he felt like he's giving his players a little too much freedom, so they run a little more structure in their offense, and it's obviously worked. Their lead is 5, but in the lane, Applewhite, that shot won't drop, and soaring for the rebound is King, who's starting to take this game over. He's rebounding, he's shooting, he's handling the ball, but Selman, and the ball will stay with Memphis East.
Well, that's got to be a foul there. That ball did not go off Myron Johnson, but it was as if they said, okay, I'm tired of calling fouls here. I'm just going to give them the ball and just call it even.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So East will be happy to get that ball back.
Antonio Gillespie in the game for Central. Again, the dish out, underneath they go. Irvin. Magic Morris right there with the up and under. That's the only thing you could call it. Jones trying to answer, and he gets called for the offensive foul. So Josh Jones forced it a little bit, and that's a big foul.
This has been such an amazing game to watch with the pace of it, because if it weren't for the fouls, this game would get going so fast, almost blinding speed. But that time, Josh Jones, not a good decision. He forced it into the defense there. Got to pull that ball back out.
And there's Butler firing. So he's getting hot at the right time.
He's had a huge second half.
Matt Butler ups the lead to 9.
He's found that hot spot on the right wing. That's been his go-to place.
And the lead now 9 for the Mustangs. Last state championship was 1996. It would coronate quite a first year of coaching for Samuel Batchelor as Dre Applewhite, nails that jumper.
Boy, does he like catching it with his back to the basket. He doesn't care where it is. He's going to turn, and then he will go to work one-on-one. He is tough off that dribble.
Matt Butler right now has the hot hand. They go inside to King, who misses everything. Applewhite kind of tapped the rebound out, and Jones has it.
King's frustrated. He thought he got fouled there. He's got to hustle back. It's 5-on-4 right now.
There's Applewhite missing the shot, and soaring for the rebound is Morris. Like he was on a pogo stick there. Anderson triggering the break, taking it all the way in, and draws the foul. Alexander Anderson, AAAOK, as he goes for the three-point play.
See, Nick King, he's been frustrated in that post all afternoon long, trying to catch a breather there. Meanwhile, Anderson says, I got you, big fella. I got this one. Sees the space in the lane, and they continue to attack that basket and pile up those fouls.
Little Linda Ronstadt action with Antonio Gillespie, blew by you.
I think that might be lost on our generation, Mark.
I'm sorry. East retains possession. Butler, who's been red hot, instead goes inside to King. Whoa, it almost fell. That would have been one for the books.
Well, he's had to earn it every time he catches it in the post. Central is playing tough, hard-nosed defense, and he is slow to get up on that one. He says, guys, I need an extra second here.
3 fouls on Gillespie.
We mentioned a war of attrition. Fouls piling up now for both teams. Right now, Central's got 4 players that have 3, and Heron with 4 on the bench. And Heron's about to check back in.
And Dre Applewhite, as we told you, had to plug some holes. He lost 3 players to transfer, and he felt like the turning point in their season in January. And some of these road trips, Willie, are interesting. Central went to South Dakota to play in Mike Miller's tournament, Mike Skinny Miller, and they faced great competition and really learned to play great defense.
I would have to say that for a lot of those guys will be the only opportunity that they go to South Dakota. I have never been to South Dakota, so when you get a chance to go there, that ticks off one of the toughest states to get to if you're trying to get to all 50 states in your lifetime.
It was actually East that made that trip. Anyway, since Central took the lead, East has been on a 22-13 run and losing possession, and Willie Donick almost getting a touch was Josh Jones.
Well, we haven't had too many of those. That was a bit of an unforced turnover, and Coach Applewhite wants a timeout here. Wants to settle these guys down. His team has had the deficit slip a little bit. Still plenty of time with 3.5 minutes to go, but they can't afford to get further behind. And that's the kind of turnover you don't need.
Well, right now it seems if they don't come back, that East took Central's best shot, fell behind by 2, and then regained their footing with a 22-13 run, and now they lead by 10.
And it was Butler that made the big baskets after Central made the run to start the third quarter to take that lead. Butler hit a couple of big buckets to regain the control of the game, as you mentioned, Mark. So a great job by Butler, Morris, Anderson. All of those guys have chipped in and played very, very well around Nick King, who has not had his best game, and that's really by design. Central is forcing the other guys to beat them, but those guys are doing it.
So 3:30 to go. And we'll see if Memphis Central has anything left in the tank. Selman in the game has been outstanding, as we mentioned. Off the bench, he has 10 points, but he's also handled the ball extremely well.
2-on-1.
And getting it rejected. Applewhite wanted a foul, and it looks like Selman flicked it off of him.
And I think Applewhite knew it. He tried to sell the call, but he knew it went off of him. He was just frustrated. How in the world did Selman knock that away from me, off of me, without fouling me?
Well, another possession in Memphis East's favor. And there's the steal again by Applewhite. Lost it, and getting it back this time was Jones. Applewhite moving in the lane, kicks it out. Sorrell in the corner, wide open, and missing the shot was Johnson. Applewhite there for the follow on the floor. The ball goes out of bounds. It will stay with Memphis Central. So Andre Applewhite just busting it down there.
Just couldn't buy the basket there, but would not give up on the play. And as he tried to throw that ball out, fortunately, it hit one of the Mustangs. Central needs a bucket. They need somebody besides Applewhite to hit a big shot. Right there, Gillespie had a very good look out of the corner. Took it, just couldn't knock it down. But they need players like him, and they have an opportunity to convert here, to get inside, to get a chance to get it back in this game.
Myron Johnson tries the three, no good. Going high for the rebound is Selman. And Irvin Morris making the move. Inside to King, who turns. Doesn't get it, but he'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple.
It's interesting. The referees, they've called a lot of fouls, but I still think, to a degree, they've let the teams play. There is just so much aggressiveness on defense by both teams. As I mentioned, if you don't bring a hard-nosed edge to your game today, you're going to get taken advantage of. That time, good job by Nick King to stay aggressive, get his man up in the air, and that's 4 fouls now on Sorrell.
So Sorrell has 4, Heron on the bench with 4, and Applewhite, Jones, and Gillespie all have 3. So the lead now 11 for the Mustangs. Nick King makes it 12.
The East continues to be aggressive, even with the lead. Look at them extend the defense.
There's Jones for the 3. So Josh Jones not giving up.
So see, that's an interesting call there to extend that pressure. You leave yourself open there when you have the defense extended full court.
Off the pressure, the miss there by Anderson. It gets out to King. King was looking to whip that pass inside, but instead they bring it back out.
So Coach Batchelor telling his team to spread it with good ball handlers, and even though that Central team can really ball hawk, you got to hope that you can continue to draw some fouls.
Myron Johnson called for the foul. TSSAA Network.com is the place for all the best in regular season and championship high school sports action in Tennessee. Log on to watch all the Division I and II girls and boys tournament basketball games in their entirety. Double bonus now for Memphis East.
East in great shape here. if they can knock down these free throws, as Anderson did not there. But not only is every foul 2 shots, but every foul adds another. Everybody on the floor virtually for Central is in some sort of foul trouble with either 3 or 4, with the exception of Myron Johnson, who has only 2. So Johnson actually needs to think about that. If they get to a point where they need to foul, he probably needs to give a foul or 2.
Jones moving baseline, nice reverse, and a timeout called as the lead is cut back to 8. So Memphis Central refusing to go away, 1:58 to go. And you look at that bench for Memphis Central. Coach Andre Applewhite played at Texas Southern, went to Hillcrest.
So now I'm curious to see what Central does defensively here. Do they go with the full court trapping press, or do they go hardcore man-to-man and try to play straight defense and try to hope that they can get a steal that way?
And by the way, Willie, pull out your credit card, because you can purchase a DVD copy of any of the Division I or Division II Blue Cross Championship basketball games. Log on to TSSAA-network.com and look for the green Buy Now button. So an 8-point lead for the Mustangs, but it's going to be a hard 158 if they expect to get their first championship since 1996.
We got Dedrick Thomas in the game for the first time for Central. He may be the designated fouler if it gets to that. Number 25. And here he comes. He's going to go foul or to apply the double team.
Morris out of the trap, down low to King, who pulls up and finishes. Off the window, and 10-point lead now for Memphis East. Nick King has 18. And Sorrell misses. King elevates for the rebound. And out of bounds it goes, and East will retain possession.
Sorrell had a good look, and he's been so consistent with that 3. They really needed that one to go down. He had a good look.
So a big possession.
So down
comes
10.
Up empty.
Little sweat on the ball there. They're going to wipe it down. Really need a steal early in the possession. If you don't get it, have to think about fouling soon. So Thomas is going to chase.
Out of the pressure, and there's the steal. Myron Johnson for 3, misses. Might have got a little greedy there.
Gamble. That extra point would have been big, but the easy 2 is better.
Anderson to Butler. And Butler kisses it home, 12-point lead. Applewhite trying to come right back, draws the foul.
And Applewhite went down hard. He took that ball straight to the hoop. Hopefully it's just a cramp. Slow to get up.
Third time Memphis East has held a 12-point lead. And Dre Applewhite.
How many times have we said today, Mark, that you have got to earn it? If you take it to the rack today, you're going to have to be strong with it. Let's see if Applewhite can gather himself and make these free throws, because, boy, did he get hammered.
And, I mentioned Dre Applewhite really imposing his will on his team and this game in outstanding fashion. Has 23 points, easily a team high and a game high. So he has proven to be as great as advertised. Averaged almost 19 a game during the regular season. Had 29 against Clarksville, 23 against Ooltewah. He's had just a terrific state championship.
We'll see how much Central is able to extend this game, because they're going to need to stretch that minute 6 as much as they can.
So the lead down to 10. And when you got 4 timeouts, you might as well not take them home. So 3 timeouts left for Memphis East. Coach Batchelor is discussing things, and there you see the confab on the Memphis Central side. And Willie, Sam Batchelor, as we mentioned, was the assistant girls coach last year, got elevated to head coach, and he is committed, obviously, made a splash in his first season.
Well, it's been a great way to end your first season here in the driver's seat. He's telling his team now, guys, we've worked on this. Let's make sure we have our spacing right on our press attack. Concentrate, give ourselves outlets. When they double team, make sure you hit the open area of the court and be strong with the ball because they have to foul pretty early in the possession.
He played for Jerry Johnson, legendary coach at Lemoyne-Owen, and Liz Johnson as one of his major coaching influences, but also says Wanda Hunt, who was the head girls basketball coach at Memphis East, as his other major influence.
Good press attack there. Excellent spacing. Now the long pass is there.
They shred the press, and King on the reverse misses. Trying to get the handle is Applewhite.
Great hustle.
Nice little outlet to Sorrell. Sorrell can shoot the three. Instead, the bounce pass, and it's stolen away in the game for the first time.
Oh! Great block by Applewhite, denying the dunk. Irvin Morris thought he was home free.
Dedrick Thomas, by the way, number 25 in the game for the first time from Memphis Central.
Now, this is called denial. Wow. You think you got a dunk, and it's swatted out of bounds.
Here's Applewhite moving in. Draws the foul. It will be on Irvin Morris.
Morris, I think, still a little bit bitter that he had a dunk taken away there by Applewhite. So he says, all right, I'll put you at the line. I'm not going to get hammered again.
Double bonus now for Central, and 4 fouls on Irvin Morris.
So Morris thought he might have had the exclamation point there. His team still in the driver's seat.
Memphis East really weathered Memphis Central's storm midway through the third quarter. After Central went ahead by 2, East answered, got it back up by 6 after 3 quarters, and it pretty much maintained that lead down the home stretch.
So neither team brilliant from the free throw line, certainly a high volume of free throws. Now you got to execute the press break here.
And there it is on the run out. Selman. That won't count, but it doesn't matter.
Well, the refs, or the Central Warriors, thought maybe a technical foul there because that was well after the whistle. That would have been a big break, but the refs decided not to. So Selman will get a chance to add to this lead as the Mustangs try to put this one away. They last won the state championship in 1996, Mark, and they had not been back to the tournament since then. Just gives you an idea how hard it is to come through Memphis and just get to Murfreesboro.
Exactly, and Selman having, I would imagine, a career game. For a guy who averaged 2.5 points, I missed those 2, but it's down to 9. Applewhite driving it in, cannot draw the foul, gets his own miss. Nice follow, and this time he will shoot free throws, courtesy of Nick King.
Nick King was like, why did I foul? Why did I foul there? He didn't mean to, but I'll tell you what, this Applewhite is so good at drawing contact in there. He keeps going back to the line.
And here's where you can appreciate the greatness of Nick King. He saw that his other teammates, he saw Matt Butler was having a good day. You know, he saw other guys on his team, were zoned in. And he imposed his will when he had to in the right situations. He didn't force it. And that's why this Memphis East team has such great chemistry.
And they didn't try to force the ball to him. They had enough confidence in themselves to hit big shots around him. And King still sitting there with 18 points. So that's always good team basketball. That's how you win a championship, is unselfishness and getting everything within the flow of the offense.
And this backyard showdown has had a degree of physicality. And here, with a 9-point lead, we'll tell you that the Blue Cross Basketball Championships Move of the Game brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, promoting healthy and active lifestyles among Tennessee's young people. And why not give it to Irvin Morris with the Move of the Game. Nice reverse.
A beautiful up and under there. The great feed from Nick King. In that third quarter run that pushed the lead back out. for East. So now Nick King trying to put an exclamation point on this thing. And remember, he's coming back next year, just a junior. So right now with 20 seconds, Central's got to be thinking quick three. They got to push it right up the court. Got to have a three, I would think.
You got King coming back, Butler coming back, Lawson coming back.
Pretty good nucleus right there.
Yeah, it really is. Trying for the three and missing is Jones. And we are down to the final seconds here. But Central's going to make them pay for it, but you can see the celebration on the east sideline. Coach Boucher says, calm down. We have 9 seconds to go.
Plenty of time to celebrate here in just a few minutes.
Nice crowd brought by Memphis East. And Applewhite fouls out rather. A great career for Dre Applewhite, capped with his championship game defeat, but believe me, he was outstanding in his final high school game.
Boy, the effort was outstanding. Father and son, not happy with the result. But Dad telling him, hey, you got a lot to be proud of here, because he poured his heart out on the court today. I really love the effort by Applewhite. And there's the hug. Coach to player, father to son.
Yeah, Taj Kane in the game now for Central.
Take a look at Applewhite over on the bench there. Still pacing, doesn't want to sit down, doesn't want this thing to be over.
5 seconds to go. Jones launches the three. Off the glass and out. Final seconds. And the Mustangs of Memphis East with their run for the Roses. A first state championship since 1996. And a jubilant celebration at center court.
All of that hard work. Every game you play in the playoffs is so tough. And East was able to run the gauntlet, get here and win the 4th battle between these two teams. And I'm sure Central's over there going, boy, did we get a rubber match? Each team has won 2 in this great rivalry this year, but East wins the game for all the marbles. Congratulations to the Mustangs.
Nick King really almost overcome with emotion in winning his first state championship. And we would not be surprised if we saw him back there, but you're right, Willie. It ends up 2-2, but Memphis East wins the most important game. The state championship finals, the 3A championship trophy, will go back with the Mustangs. And we'll have the presentation coming up. But Memphis East enjoying the moment there, basking in the glow of a 71-61 victory.
Boy, you just think back through what it took to get all the way through on that journey. Special moment there when you're all together, and they'll never forget the feeling they've got right here.
All right, when we come back, let's go down to Jonathan Hutton with Coach Batchelor.
Coach, the 6th state title in school history, first since the 90s. What does it mean right now?
I'm speechless. I'm just so proud of these young men. I mean, they work so hard, and they deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, the community, the school, the tradition, the pride. I'm so happy that we're able to bring this title back to Binghamton, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm so proud of the young men. I'm so proud of them.
What did you just tell your team right after the game right there?
I don't remember. I don't remember. All I know is I told him we need to give God thanks, because without him, we wouldn't have been able to be in this position that we're in now.
It was a great ride. Congratulations on the state title.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Mark, go right.
All right, Jonathan. Obviously, Coach Batchelor a little bit overcome with emotion, and rightfully so. When we come back, the trophy presentation and Mr. Basketball.
I see history.
I see numbers.
I see music. I see spaceships. I see a butterfly.
Each year, the School Advocates for Vision and Education in Memphis makes it possible for hundreds of school children to get the glasses they need, all for free.
I see my future.
So whatever they see better. That's why Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee supports them. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee is for Tennessee.
I see you.
See how Blue Cross is impacting your community at bcbst.com/impact.
Take me home tonight.
You can choose the back seat, or we'll choose one for you.
Memphis East celebrating a state championship first since 1996, 71-61 over Memphis Central in the Class 3A state championship game. Now let's go to the PA for the award ceremony.
Region team twice. He's helped the Roadrunners to a 109-18 record in his 4 years at the school. Cameron has been named Best of the Preps team 3 times and is a McDonald's All-American nominee this season. His head coach here today, Wesley Henning. How about a big hand? Our first finalist, ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Golden from Ridgeway High School. Our second finalist, Jawan Johnson from Southwind High School. Jawan is a 6'5" junior guard. 2 years started for the Jaguars, averages nearly 22 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3.1 steals, and 1.2 blocks per game. He shoots 53% from the field, 40% from behind the arc, and 81% from the free throw line. This season, he's been named to the All-District Tournament team and was named the regular season MVP of District 15 Class AAA. Jawan has also been named the All-Region team this year as well. He was named the MVP of the Rumble on the Ridge and the Thaddeus Young Hoop Fest this season. His head coach, Paul Edwards. How about a big hand? Our second finalist, Jawan Johnson from Southwind High School. And our third finalist, Alex Poitras from Northeast High School. Alex is a 6'8" senior forward, a 3-year starter for the Eagles who averages 30.1 points per contest, 11.1 rebounds, 4.5 blocks, 2 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. He shoots 67% from the field, 38% from three-point range, and 77% from the free throw line. Alex has scored over 2,000 career points and has recorded 21 double-doubles this season. Alex has been named to the All-District and All-District tournament team 3 times and was the All-Region selection twice. He was an All-State selection as a sophomore and named the District MVP this season. His head coach, Al Cooper. How about a big hand for our third finalist from Northeast High School, Alex Poitras. And your 2012 Class AAA Mr. Basketball winner, Alex Poitras from Northeast High School of Clarksville. How about a big hand once again, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Poitras, Mr. Basketball 2012. On behalf of the TSSAA, we'd first like to recognize our competitors. Before we distribute our team trophies, we'd like to take a moment to thank some people who've helped make this a successful tournament. Please help us now, if you would, ladies and gentlemen, recognize the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce, Middle Tennessee State University, and staff for their help in hosting the tournament and making it an outstanding event once again. The TSSAA would also like to thank Action Picks TN, the official photographer of the TSSAA. You can purchase pictures from the tournament online at actionpixtn.com. We'd also like to thank Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, the Governor's Highway Safety Office, Tennessee Dairy Farmers, Rollins Baptist Sports Medicine, Huff and Puff Trucking, Dixie Homecrafters, and Action Picks TN for their support of our championship. Our first award this evening goes to the cheerleading squad that has demonstrated outstanding sportsmanship during our tournament. The Spirit Award goes to the cheerleaders from Memphis Central High School. The Warrior cheerleaders doing a great job here this week. And now the presentation of the runner-up coach's plaque, and it belongs to head coach Andre Applewhite from Memphis Central High School. A great tournament this week, coming up just a little short here this evening. And now the presentation of the runner-up team, Memphis Central High School, the Warriors, finishing the season 20-10 here in the state tournament final. Great basketball this week from the Warriors. And now the presentation of the champion coach's plaque, head coach Samuel Batchelor from Memphis East High School. Head coach Samuel Batchelor. And now the presentation of the champion team, the gold ball, and it's headed to Memphis East High School. The Mustangs, state champions in 2012. Memphis East finishing 23-9 on the season.
So Memphis East taking the big prize for the first time, as we mentioned, since 1996. Understandably emotional, beating an arch rival, Memphis Central. So more to come when we come back, but the 3A champions, Memphis East.
Congratulations there to Memphis East, but also to Memphis Central. What an incredible game they both played, and I know all the folks in West Tennessee enjoyed this game as well as all across the state, right, Sonia?
That's right. It's been a wonderful game, and, you know, I didn't know who was going to get that Spirit Award. It was down to the end on that one, Becky.
I know. We were down here on the side of the Memphis Central cheerleaders, though, and they did show incredible spirit all through the game, and congratulations to both teams for being in this state championship playoff, and especially to Memphis East for taking home the grand prize, I suppose.
That's right. They did a great job.
We hope that you'll take this opportunity and call your public television station. You know, we have a unique partnership across the state with 6 public television stations to bring you these championship games. And we hope that you'll take this opportunity, as we are all in the middle of our membership drive, and it's a wonderful time to call and register your support for this kind of high school, quality high school sports. This is the time that you can register your commitment to public television and bringing quality programming throughout the year, but especially these TSSAA games, right, Sonia?
That's right. And just remember, whenever you are calling into your public television station, that money stays with your station there and enables them to provide this great programming for you on a regular basis for you to see on your channel there at home. So when that number comes across the screen, just call in and they'll have a friendly operator there waiting to answer your telephone call, calling your support.
Tennesseans love history and love nature. That's why many of our NPT-produced programs follow that same path. We're in the midst of producing several stories about what life was like during the Civil War here in Tennessee. They're unusual, local stories that never have been told before on television. There's something about our history and our nature programs that reflect the values of our viewers, what they're deeply interested in. Our viewers are a passionate and inquisitive bunch. That's the beauty of NPT. We're a window to the world of discovery and ideas that become part of people's lives. Like our promise, television worth watching, we live it.